guys, welcome back to the Family Fudge. I'm Jennifer, and in today's video, I have some really awesome lunch ideas to share with you. These lunches are really quick to put together, and they're really budget friendly too. That's right, I'd say about 90% of the ingredients I'm using this week I picked up at a grocery store called Aldi. So yeah, super budget friendly. And this is also going to be the kids' first week back to school after their long winter break. So we're excited for that, and we're also excited to be celebrating a birthday this week. So stay tuned, you guys, to find out who. Hey guys, today is Monday. Since this is going to be our first school lunch of 2020, today I'm going for a school-themed lunch. I've decided to use the Bento lunch boxes, and today's lunch is also going to be meat-free and dairy-free. And you guys, a lot of Mondays end up being our PB&J day as well, because it's something quick and easy that I can put together on a Monday morning. So this week we're going to be trying this organic creamy peanut butter I picked up at Aldi. And we're also going to test out this organic strawberry jam from Aldi as well. And I'm also bringing out my mini letter shape cookie cutters because I want to turn these sandwiches into peekaboo sandwiches. So for each kid, I'm actually only going to be making half a sandwich. With all of the other things I want to add into today's lunch, I think that's going to be plenty. So I'm going to start by cutting this piece of bread in half. And you guys, since this is Aldi week, I did get this loaf of bread at Aldi. It was only like 85 cents, which is an amazing price. I can't think of any other stores around me that have bread that cheap. So now to create these peekaboo sandwiches, I'm going to go ahead and use my cookie cutters to punch out an A, a B, and a C. I'm just doing this to the piece of bread that's going to end up on the top. And I'm also making sure to save the little pieces of bread that come out of the center of the A and the center of the B, because I'm going to be adding those back in later. And here's a tip, you guys. Whenever I'm using cookie cutters that are really small or that have fine details, I like to use a little food pick to help me pop the food out of the cutter itself. So now on this other slice of bread, I'm going to go ahead and spread some of this Aldi peanut butter. Now this is the natural kind of peanut butter, so I did have to go ahead and stir it up quite a bit before I could spread it. But you guys, I tasted it and it tastes just like regular peanut butter. I honestly don't think my kids will be able to tell the difference. Next, I'm taking a little bit of that strawberry jam, and I'm going to be adding it directly on top of the peanut butter. Now, normally I would put the jelly on the other slice of bread, but since I'm making a peekaboo sandwich today, it's going to be a lot easier to put the jelly on this side. So now I'm going to go ahead and close up the sandwich, and I'm going to very quickly add those tiny pieces of bread that I saved back into the center of the letters. Again, I'm using my food pick here to get these just in the right spot. And there you have it, guys. One sandwich down and two more to go. Now I think these sandwiches turned out awesome, and I know the kids are going to love them. So now that the sandwiches are done, it's time to move on to some fruit and veggies. So first I'm going to go ahead and wash up some green grapes. I was able to pick these up at Aldi for less than $1 a pound, which is awesome. And I'm also going to be washing up some blueberries, which were also less than $1 per carton, which is a really good deal for blueberries. And then for the vegetable, instead of adding baby carrots, I went ahead and bought a big bag of carrots. I was able to get a 2-pound bag for just over $1. So for these, I'm just going to wash them, peel them, and then I'm using my crinkle cutter to cut them into coins. So now, since there's not actually any cooking involved in today's lunch, I'm actually ready to put all the lunches together. In this front section, I'm going to go ahead and add in the peekaboo PB&J. Half a sandwich fits perfectly in this section. And now to go along with these sandwiches, I also want to give the kids some yogurt. But like I said, today's lunch is meat-free and dairy-free. So when I was at Aldi, I made sure to pick up some of this non-dairy yogurt for the kids to try. Now I have to say, even though I bought these at Aldi, they were kind of pricey at over $1 a piece, but honestly I think that's just how it is when you buy non-dairy yogurt. So I'm going to add just about half a cup of that yogurt right into this front section of the lunchbox. In this back section, I'm going to go ahead and add in the grapes and the blueberries. I'm going to add a cute little schoolhouse decoration. I get these on Amazon, and they're really just a fun and easy way to dress up a lunchbox. They're actually made to go on top of cupcakes, so I know they're safe to go with food. Next to the fruit, I have just enough room for the carrots. I'm gonna add in one more of those little schoolhouse decorations directly into the yogurt. And then in this back section, I have something new for the kids to try. These little cookie bites are grain-free, gluten-free. They're also paleo and vegan. Of course, these are from Aldi as well. They were a little bit more expensive at $2.99 a bag, but they did come in several different flavors, including chocolate chip, double chocolate, and caramel. So I'm gonna go ahead and add just 2 or 3 of these little cookies into each lunchbox. And then for the kids' drinks today, I'm bringing out some new water bottles. And you'll notice that these ones are quite a lot bigger than their old water bottles, because now that the kids are older, they're definitely wanting more water. So now that I have one lunchbox complete, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other 2. And then as I'm packing up today's lunch, I'm gonna make sure to give the kids a spoon for their yogurt. I also want to get an ice pack on there to make sure it stays nice and cold. And then I'm gonna be able to fit all of these things into their lunch bags. These are the bunches of Lunches lunch bags. We love these and they're still going strong. Now that is everything for today's lunch, and of course after the kids get back home, they'll let us know whether they like the lunch or not. Okay guys, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part was the yogurt. My favorite part was the sandwich.
My favorite part was the sandwich, the yogurt, and the carrots.
Hey guys, and happy Tuesday! For today's lunch, I'm bringing back our Yum Boxes. We have had these for a couple of years now, and even though they are a little bit scratched up, they are still in perfect working order. Oh yes, and today's lunch is going to be a nut-free one as well. So if you or your kids are looking for nut-free lunch ideas, this one's for you. So just like yesterday's lunch, there's not actually any cooking involved for today's lunch either. So it's going to be really quick and easy. For the main course, I'm going to put together some delicious sandwiches. And again, I'm using some of that Aldi bread, which was only 95 cents a loaf. And this is the honey wheat bread. But honestly, I don't even think the kids will notice. So to make these sandwiches, I'm going to start by first removing all of the crusts. I often like to remove the crusts before I fill the sandwiches. That way I can save the plain crusts for recipes later. Okay guys, so now my next step is a little bit controversial. You guys will have to let me know in the comments down below what you think, but for these sandwiches today I thought instead of adding mayonnaise like I normally would, that I would go ahead and add a thin layer of butter instead. I know a lot of you out there outside of the US like to use butter in your sandwiches instead of mayo. So that's what we're gonna try today. Next, I'm adding 2 slices of ham to each sandwich, and then instead of adding regular cheddar cheese, I have something extra special. You know, one of the things that Aldi is known for is their huge selection of cheeses from all over the world. So today I thought it'd be really tasty to go ahead and add some of this Havarti cheese instead. Of course, this is a Danish style cheese, but it's actually really mild in flavor, so I'm pretty sure the kids are gonna like it. So I'm going to add 1 slice of this Havarti cheese into each sandwich, and then I'm gonna go ahead and close it up. But I'm not quite done yet. Now I know my kids love it when I decorate the tops of their sandwiches, and I'm always trying to come up with new and interesting ways to do that don't take a lot of time. So for today's sandwiches, I'm going to go ahead and add an extra slice of Havarti cheese to the top of the sandwich. And I did go ahead and just cut these out in a star shape. Next, I'm going to take 2 little slices of olive for the little eyes. Then I had just a couple of pieces of salami left in my fridge. I went ahead and cut those into tiny pieces so that they would look like smiles. And then to finish these guys off, I'm going to take a couple of sugar snap peas, and I'm going to go ahead and open up the pod just like this, and I'm going to pluck out a couple of these little peas. And I'm going to stick these little peas directly into the center of the olive. That way our little star-shaped guy looks like he has green eyes. So now these sandwiches are super cute, but they only took a couple of minutes. So now that the sandwiches are done, I can go ahead and move on to the rest of the lunch. Now this specific kind of Yum box is called the panino box, which is awesome because it has this large section here on the side that is the perfect size for our sandwich. So I'm going to fit this right into here. Then over here on the side, I'm going to add in some sugar snap peas. I did go ahead and trim off both ends of the peas. My kids aren't big fans of those. And then to go along with the peas, I'm also going to fill in the rest of this section with some little tiny black olives. So as you can see, I'm adding the same exact ingredients that I used to decorate the top of the sandwich. Now, just for fun, I'm going to add one little food pick in here. And then to go along with those sugar snap peas, I'm also going to give the kids a little bit of ranch dressing. And with this kind of yum box, there's actually a perfect spot right in the center to put things like dips and sauces. I've never had any problems with the ranch leaking out of the lunchbox. Now for the kids' fruit today, I'm going to go ahead and give them one of these little applesauce pouches. This is just a plain unsweetened apple flavor from Aldi. And then to go along with this lunch, I also want to throw in some pretzels. And you guys, these actually did not come from Aldi. I actually already had these pretzels in my pantry, and as you can tell, I just have a few left that I really want to use up. These are the Dots home-style pretzels, and if you guys have not tried these, you definitely should. These are sort of a twisty pretzel, but they also include a seasoning on the outside, which I think tastes a lot like ranch powder. So they're salty and savory and crunchy. They are really good, and I have just enough space to add a few right here at the bottom. Okay guys, now that brings us to our special treat, just a couple of these Danish butter cookies. Now I'm not sure if Aldi's has these year-round or if they're just left over from Christmas, but I thought since I was using the Danish cheese in the sandwich that these would kind of go along with that. Now you guys let me know in the comments down below if you're a fan of these Danish butter cookies. Personally, I love the pretzel shaped ones. Those are definitely my favorite. They're basically a very buttery, crispy cookie, and some of them have sugar on the outside. They are really simple but very tasty. So I'm just gonna add a couple of these into the lunchbox. And then also from Aldi, I found these little tiny juice boxes. This is just the apple flavor. So I'm gonna go ahead and give each kid one of those. And then of course, they're also gonna be taking their water bottles as well. Okay guys, one lunch down and 2 more to go. Now, sometimes when I'm putting together these lunches, I'll make all 3 of them at the same time. And other times I'll go ahead and just make one entire lunch and then make the other ones. But you guys let me know in the comments down below which style you like to see in these videos. Okay guys, what did you think? Tell me what your favorite thing was, starting with Lily.
My favorite one was the olives and the juice.
Kenzie?
My favorite was the butter cookies.
Oh, and Jackson?
My favorite part was probably the sandwich and the juice.
Juice, you love juice. Good job, guys. Hey guys, and welcome to Wednesday. So for today's lunch, I'm going to be using these Good Bin lunch boxes. These ones are definitely different in shape and color. These boxes are really awesome because they are a lot more affordable than other bento boxes out there, but at the same time, they're not quite as leak-proof, which is totally not a problem for today's lunch because there's not going to be a lot of liquids in here, because today I'm kind of going for a lunchable style lunch. So instead of using regular round crackers like I normally would for Lunchables, today I thought I would go ahead and switch things up and use these woven wheat crackers instead. Now these are basically just like Aldi's version of Triscuit crackers. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of these right into the lunchbox, and I'm going to make sure to leave enough space on the side here for the cheese. And speaking of cheese, there actually won't be any cutting of the cheese today. Instead, I'm going to give each kid one of these little wedges of spreadable cheese. Now, normally I buy the Laughing Cow brand of cheese, but of course, since all of these things are from Aldi, we're gonna give these a try today. These really do look exactly the same as the Laughing Cow cheese, which my kids normally like. Next, I'm gonna be adding in some fruit, and while I was at Aldi, I picked up this bag of Cara oranges. Now to make these easier to fit into the lunchbox and to make it easier for my kids to peel them, I'm going to go ahead and trim off a little bit of the top of each orange. Then I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to very carefully just cut little notches along the top. That's going to make it a lot easier for the kids to peel. And then for the veggie today, I decided to go with broccoli. So I'm just going to add a few little florets right over here. And of course, I'm not going to forget the ranch today. And now you guys, so far this lunch is looking awesome and pretty well balanced, but now I'm going to go ahead and add in a sweet treat. I know my kids are going to be super excited to see these. These are not something I normally buy very often. You guys will have to let me know if you're a fan of these. I feel like these little Swiss rolls are like a classic lunchtime treat. So now to get these to fit into the lunchbox, I did go ahead and cut each one in half so I can fit them in just like this with a little swirl at the top. It looks so cool. And then last but not least, for the kids' drink today, they're just going to be taking their water. Okay, first up, let's look at Kenzie's. What'd you think, Kenzie? What was your favorite and what was your least favorite?
My favorite was the cheese and the crackers, but my least favorite was probably the orange.
Why?
Because it's kind of hard to eat.
And you only needed one cheese? One was enough for you?
Yeah.
Good job. Next, let's do Jackson's. Jackson, what was your favorite and what was your least favorite?
My favorite was probably the orange, and probably my least favorite was the crackers and the broccoli.
The crackers and the broccoli. Next time, should I use regular crackers? Mm-hmm. Okay, what about Lily's?
My favorite was the orange and the candy.
The orange and the candy? The little roll, cake roll thing?
Yeah.
Good job today, guys.
See you tomorrow.
Good morning, guys, and happy Thursday. I am super excited about today's lunch because it just happens to be one of my favorite foods that I'm hoping my kids will like too. This is going to be a hot lunch, so I'm using the Omni box today. Again, I haven't used these lunch boxes in a while, but this is the kind that has the built-in thermos. This is perfect for keeping hot foods hot until lunchtime. And speaking of hot foods, today I'm going to be making some Japanese style curry rice. Now, yesterday was actually my birthday. And if you're already following me over on Instagram, you'll probably already know what I did for my birthday. But basically, after the kids got out of school, we all headed to Epcot. We went on the Frozen ride and we went on Soarin'. And I also picked up lots of my favorite Japanese treats. So one of the things I picked up from Epcot was this curry mix. And believe it or not, this is actually really quick and pretty easy to put together. Today I'm using 1 pound of chicken thighs that I cut into bite-sized pieces. I'm also using some diced potato, some diced carrots, and about half of this onion, also diced. So now to make this curry, I'm going to start by adding a little bit of oil to my large pot. I'm going to go ahead and swirl this oil around the pan just to make sure it's completely coated. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add in my chicken, give that a stir, and now basically I'm just going to follow the directions that are on the back of my curry box. So that means I'm going to dump in all of the veggies, and I'm going to go ahead and cook this on medium for about 5 minutes. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and add in some water, and I'm going to wait for this to come to a boil. And now I wanted to give you guys a closer look at this curry paste in case you've never seen it. This is definitely a Japanese style curry. So as you can see, this comes in kind of a brick like this. And because I want my kids to eat this, I did go ahead and get the mild version, although you can get spicy and that is delicious as well. Okay guys, so this has been boiling for about 20 minutes, and at this point I'm going to go ahead and test the veggies. I'm going to go ahead and use a carrot to kind of poke the fork to make sure that's tender, and I'm also going to be checking the potatoes as well. I want them to be soft, but I don't want them to be falling apart because I don't like them to be mushy in my curry. So now at this point I'm going to go ahead and break up these little pieces of curry paste, and I'm just going to throw them directly into the pot. I'm going to go ahead and stir this all up and let it cook for another 5 minutes or so, or until it's nice and thickened. Now you guys, this is smelling so good, and it's bringing back a lot of memories. Now a lot of you guys probably already know, I spent time at a university in Japan, and at my dorm cafeteria they used to make these huge pots of curry for dinner, and it would make the entire dormitory smell so good. Now usually when they made curry they would either use pork or beef, but there were a couple of occasions where instead they used clams, and I always was so disappointed because even though I love curry, I am not a huge fan of clams. So on those days, I definitely would not eat at the cafeteria. So now that the curry is done, I'm going to go ahead and get it into the thermos section of the lunchbox. While the curry was cooking, I also cooked up some rice in my Instant Pot. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of that in there as well. And now that that's done, I have a few more things I want to add. For our fruit today, I'm just going to add in some grapes and a few strawberries. I'm keeping it super simple here. I'm going to add in one of my little Japanese bento picks. This one is a cute little giraffe. And then over here in the back section, I'm going to go ahead and fill it up with some edamame. All of my kids love this. This comes in the pod and it's pre-salted, so it's ready to go. My kids think it's really fun to pop out the little beans and eat them just like that. And then for the sweet treat today, I'm also going to be adding in some mochi. Now I know I've shared this with you guys on this channel before, but this is definitely our favorite. These ones are actually fruit flavored. The kids love them. These are soft and chewy and just a little bit sweet. This kind from Epcot comes with a strawberry, a peach, a pineapple, and a mango flavor. So I'm gonna go ahead and add just 2 pieces of mochi per lunch. I think that is plenty. And then on the side, I'm also going to be adding in one of my favorite Japanese snacks, which is senbei, but we've never actually tried this brand before. Now you guys will have to let me know in the comments down below if you know the name of the character on the outside of this bag. This character is actually really old in Japan. In fact, he's been around since like the 70s. So I know who he is, but I'd like to see how many of you guys know. So like I said, these are senbei, but it looks like these are just little tiny ones. And they come in these really cute packages, which are perfect for throwing into lunches. And if you've never had a senbei before, it's basically a really delicious, kind of salty rice cracker. For the kids' drink today, they're definitely taking their water bottles, but I also have one more drink that I wanted them to try. I picked up just 1 bottle of this Calpico drink. This is another classic Japanese drink, and the flavor is kind of hard to explain. This is not a carbonated drink at all. This drink is actually made from milk, but it doesn't taste like milk. I'd say it's kind of a sweet and tangy flavor with just a little bit of citrus. Now, I actually think it's really good, but I'm not sure if my kids will like it. I'm gonna go ahead and put some in these little drink containers. I found these at Target recently, and they're kind of like a reusable juice box. You can put whatever kind of beverage you want inside, and they claim to be leak-proof, but I'm not quite sure how leak-proof they're going to be. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little bit in here and the kids can give it a try. And there you have it, guys. There's everything in today's lunch. This is definitely one of my favorites. I'm hoping the kids will like it too. Okay guys, so right now I just have Mackenzie and Jackson with me. Guys, say hi.
Hi.
What'd you think of this Japanese lunch?
I loved the curry.
What was your favorite part, Jack?
I liked the mochi and the edamame.
But what'd you guys think of the special drink?
No.
You didn't like it?
No,
Not
I don't
a fan?
like it.
That's okay. Good job today, guys.
See you tomorrow.
Hey guys, and happy Friday! For today's lunch, I'm going for sort of a French breakfast theme. And pretty much the star of today's breakfast themed lunch is going to be these little chocolate croissants. Now, I've actually seen these at Aldi before, but I've never actually purchased them until this week. They actually look a lot like the kind you might find at Starbucks. These guys are actually imported from France, so I'm thinking they're pretty authentic. And I'm gonna go ahead and just remove them from the packaging and add them into the lunch boxes. Next, I'm going to be adding in some French style yogurt. Now, you guys, if you have not tried this yogurt, you are missing out. This is actually yolk play yogurt, but it definitely has a more French style to it. It's really thick, it's super creamy, and it's not overly sweet, which I really like. Oh yes, and I also love that it comes in this little glass jar, because these jars are perfect for recycling and reusing in lots of different ways. Now this yogurt does come in lots of different flavors, but for today's lunch, I went ahead and chose the honey flavored yogurt. So I'm going to go ahead and add about half a cup of this yogurt right into this front section of the lunchbox, and I'm going to garnish it with just one little strawberry on top. And speaking of strawberries, I'm going to add in extra strawberries for today's lunch, but instead of just leaving them plain, I'm going to go ahead and cut these into strawberry roses. When I think of French food, I think of Princess Belle. And when I think of Princess Belle, I always think about roses. So I think these strawberry roses will go perfectly for today's lunch. Now I know I've shared with you guys how I make these before, but if you're new, basically I just very carefully take a paring knife and I make little cuts along the sides of the strawberry, and I very gently peel them back to make them look like the petals of a rose. So now that we have the fruit in there, it's time to move on to some vegetables. And today I'm just going to be adding a combination of celery and carrots. Super simple but delicious. And then in this last section I have just enough space for a very, very special treat. I thought to go along with our French theme and our Belle theme, since there are French inspired food in this lunch and I've been talking about Princess Belle as well, I thought it'd be really fun to make some gray stuff. Now if you're a fan of Beauty and the Beast, you'll probably know exactly what I'm talking about when I say the gray stuff, and I actually have a separate video on exactly how I make the gray stuff. I'll go ahead and link it down below if you're curious. But for today's lunch, I'm making a really quick version of the gray stuff. I'm just going to be taking a little bit of chocolate pudding. To this, I'm adding a little bit of Cool Whip. And then lastly, I'm going to be adding in some crushed up Oreo cookies. Now I'm just going to go ahead and mix this all together. And what I'm left with is kind of like a very light chocolate mousse. This looks a lot like the gray stuff that they sell at Disneyland and at Disney World. It is super tasty, but a little bit does go a long way. So I'm going to give each kid just a little cup of this gray stuff. So now that's one lunch down. I still have two that I need to make, but I do want to go ahead and show you the drink. For the girls, I'm going to go ahead and give them some of this fruit and veggie juice with the little Belle topper. And for Jackson, I'm going to go ahead and give him fruit and veggie juice as well. But for him, I'm going to go ahead and put the Olaf topper instead, because I'm pretty sure he's a bigger fan of Olaf than he is of Princess Belle. Whoa, that is messy. Not so bad. Well, it looks pretty messy, but overall, it looks like they liked it. Okay guys, now don't forget to come back for tomorrow's video because there's going to be a big giveaway to celebrate reaching 500,000 subscribers on this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.